Hey, what's goody, Frye gang? Now, Side Order is slated to come out within a couple months, and every week since the trailer dropped, I've just been coming back and rewatching the trailer, and I've noticed a couple details in the trailer recently that got me thinking. And I have a new Side Order theory that I don't think anybody is expecting or would have thought of before. And this theory incorporates a little bit of my own theories as well as others that are out there. And that theory is that not only will Commander Tartar be returning in Side Order, he will also be working with Glenn Fiddler. Now, for the Commander Tartar side of things, I had already made a video a while ago about my theory on Commander Tartar that you can watch here, linked in the description if you want to go watch that. That video stands on its own pretty well, but I did discover a few more details that I think just corroborates that theory even more. And for those of you who don't know who Glenn Fiddler is, he was revealed in one of the Sunken Scrolls in Splatoon 3. He is the president and CEO of some company we don't know yet, but we do know that he was the sole designer behind the lobby in Splatoon 3, and just overall, generally Splatsville itself, the lobby, most likely the shoal, the practice room, and all of that, very technologically advanced, and he built up the whole tower that the lobby is built in. So what Inklings and Octolings do, all their turf wars and ranked matches, are thanks to him, since he built the whole architecture of the lobby and everything. Now, before I get into Glenn Fiddler's involvement in this, I want to go over the couple of details that I discovered that kind of corroborate my Commander Tartar theory. More specifically, that Kamabo will be coming back as well, not just Commander Tartar. On the official Japanese Side Order website, down near where the trailer plays, on either side of it are some characters, some words there that we don't quite know what they mean. However, if you look closer, they share a couple of characters with that of the Kamabo logo. So that is already a little sketchy, and to be more specific, the Kamabo logo as well as these letters most likely use the Deep Sea stencil script. Now, for those of you who don't know, throughout all of Splatoon, there are many different written languages and everything, and there's different alphabets, and they're called scripts. There's many different ones, from bold script to square script to deep sea stencil script. There's many different scripts for the different styles of writing of the languages throughout the series, just to give it a bit more character. And the Kamabo logo, as well as this text right here, uses the Deep Sea stencil script, but the issue with that is that it's not completely translated, and a lot of characters are still missing, and some of them don't even appear, but there are a couple throughout the logo and the text here that show up on the script. So it almost feels intentional that this one was used to throw us off, as it would be a little bit too easy to make connections. And I spent around an hour or so this morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, just going through everything, sifting through all of these scripts and everything else to try to find what the Kamabo logo actually says, and I was never able to figure that out. The closest I got is with the Deep Sea stencil script. That's about the closest we can get to matching the symbols, but even then it's not 100% accurate. So this is most likely the one that is being used, and is the one that I will be referring to for this, as well as a couple other examples. And the very first clue we even got to this was actually at the very beginning of the Side Order trailer. It's been here this entire time, and no one's really noticed it until just now. As far as I know, I'm the only one to notice this. But if you look at this frame here during the Side Order trailer, look over here to the left. There is some type of logo with some writing underneath it. Now, zooming in, it is a bit blurry to see, but some of these characters match that of the Combo logo as well. And I will be using the Combo logo as a reference point, as it uses the deep sea stencil sketch, and you know, it's the basis of this theory. And the Combo logo showed up in the Deep Sea Metro quite a lot. The Deep Sea stencil script even has the name Deep Sea in it. Although it is used in other places, it is most prominently used in the Deep Sea Metro, which is where Combo did their experiments. And although it's not a perfect one-to-one with the Deep Sea stencil script, the general style of these letters here are closest match to that of the Deep Sea script and the Combo logo than anything else. And given all of the other details that I will be explaining later, it kind of makes sense that this would be in that style, and it kind of just corroborates the theory even further that Combo will be returning in some form. Now, this next detail is what actually prompted me to make this video. So I want you to watch this scene right here and see if you can see anything interesting that catches your attention. Now, if you didn't notice anything, that's fine, because I didn't either my very first time watching the trailer. But after watching it for so long, I realized this power button looking thing on the Pearl palette. Now, this gives a lot of information contrary to what you might believe. So here, this is where I first started to look into it. If you look at it, this looks very similar to the Combo logo itself, not only with the logo, which I will get into in a second, the lettering and word right under the logo itself. Again, just like previously, this most likely uses the Deep Sea stencil script. Nothing specifically matches up with the script, but it is in the general style of the Deep Sea script as well as the Combo logo. And in the next scene here, we actually pull up the Pearl palette, we get a much clearer look at it right here with the lettering as well as the logo. Now, I went to look online to see if anyone else found this, and I came across this tweet right here. Now, just like the tweet said, this is a bit of a stretch. No one's outright saying that this is literally the Combo logo, just altered. But it does get you thinking, considering everything that I've said in this video so far and all of the details and everything I've noted in my Combo video, or my video about Commander Tartar. It kind of makes you think and wonder. It's kind of just falling together, and this will make a little bit more sense once I talk about Fiddler. Now, where does Fiddler fit into all of this? Well, my theory is that Combo and Fiddler's company, whatever his company is, since we don't know the name of it or anything, my theory is that Combo and Glenn's company actually fused together into like a conglomerate, so bringing both companies together into one, and this is the result. With this new logo and this new text underneath the logo is a mashup between Combo and Glenn's company. Now, something else I just thought of while recording this is earlier when I talked about out in Inkopolis Square, there is that stuff over on the left, that logo on the left. Perhaps that could be Glenn's old company logo, and the one we see here on the palette is just the new one once Combo has been integrated. So they just completely overhauled the entire logo and changed it into this. There's no evidence going for that. It's just a nice little thought that I thought I should mention. Although there's not a whole lot of evidence to support that Glenn will be in side order, since we know almost nothing about him. At the same time, there's not really a whole lot of evidence going against it either. Now, like I had said earlier, Fiddler is the one responsible for basically creating the Splatoon lobby, the Splatoon 3 lobby at least. I don't know if he created the other ones in Inkopolis Square and Plaza, but at least in Splatsville, he did create a lot of the technology that is there. Now you could be thinking, okay, yeah, he's just some CEO and president of a company that he created, and he created this highly advanced lobby for the Inklings and Octolings to do their activities. There's nothing really suspicious about him. But considering how he carries himself and how highly he thinks of himself, I think there's more at play here. Now, in Sunken Scroll 6 of Splatoon 3, we get a little bit of information about Frye, and we get a quote from him that reads, "The lobby I've built doesn't have a single standout feature, because everything in there is feature worthy. If you don't have the greatest turf war experience ever, I'll eat the smaller of my two claws." Now here we can see that he thinks very highly of what he's created and doesn't think there's anything wrong with it. It's absolutely perfect. Everything he's made is extravagant and he's done the absolute best. He's kind of leaning into the mad scientist trope. It's very apparent here that he thinks very highly of himself. And considering how technologically advanced he is, there is a case to be made that he could be an important figure in side order. And one such of these features is the copy machine in the Splatoon 3 lobby. Now, if you think about it, this is very highly advanced and we haven't really seen anything like this before. It copies when you shoot, almost immediately as you shoot, it shoots itself. So it's very quick at processing data like that. It can also throw out subs when you throw out subs. We've never really seen anything this advanced in terms of intelligence, I guess, for machinery in the Splatoon 3 series. So he's very, very talented, and a lot of what Inklings and Octolings do are thanks to him. He's created all of these highly advanced features and just overall architecture. Now, if you take a look at this copy machine, doesn't this look a little bit familiar? The copy machine, as well as the dead fish enemies we see in side order, both have red eyes. Now, if this isn't convincing enough, I'm going to play a clip here by Decado Prime to give you a little bit more insight.
During the Splatoon 3 Splatoween Splatfest, Splatsville and Inkopolis were decorated with Halloween-inspired decorations. While they definitely made the event memorable, there's one addition the developers included that left me in shock. If you were in the lobby, you may have noticed the skeletal fish design moving across the digital screens and patterns on the terrain when covered in ink. At first, it may not seem like much, that is until you realize they share a striking similarity to the enemies shown in the side order gameplay trailer. Now, this may be a bit of a stretch, but I believe this is a hint from the developers that Frye will be playing an active role in the DLC. Why would they have that specific pattern be visible in an area that he built? Not only that, but the fact that this hidden detail is placed in an area that has a robotic invention just adds more suspicion.
Another thing that just gets you thinking, notice how Frye, although we know almost nothing about him and he doesn't show up anywhere in any of the games at all, he still has his own 3D model. Now, 3D models are obviously given to characters that typically show up in the game and are moving around on screen and everything like that. For very important characters, get their own 3D models. Now, we've had similar situations like this. Harmony and Deadfish both never appeared in games, and then in Splatoon 3 and Side Order, respectively, they get their own 3D models. Now, the fact that Frye has a 3D model here kind of hints that he will at least be playing some sort of important role in Splatoon. If not Side Order, at the very least, then Splatoon 4. Now, how does Glenn tie into Kamabo? As far as we know, the two most technologically talented characters throughout the series are Frye himself and Marina. We know Marina created all of the Splatfest stages as well as some machinery for the Octarians while she was still a high-ranking official in the Octarian army. Now keep that in the back of your mind and notice how technologically advanced everything in Octo Expansion is. Now, logically, Marina would not really help make anything in the Deep Sea Metro to help enslave her own kind. As we know, Commander Tartar was luring in Octolings and just Octarians in general to sanitize them to create his primordial ooze. There's no way Marina would help construct any of this stuff in order to basically betray her own kind. So the only other likely candidate would be Frye, considering how talented he is in technology and stuff like that. So Frye very well could have, if not built the deep sea metro himself, he could have helped along with it, and that can already see the Kamabo and Glenn connections here. If he did work on the deep sea metro, it would make sense that he would have some type of return or appearance in Side Order, considering all of the Kamabo and Commander Tartar just hinting in details throughout the trailer that I've discussed previously in this video and my other video. Now later in the Side Order trailer, we see there is this giant machine looking thing, and the faces have a striking resemblance to Commander Tartar. But whoever built this machine obviously has to have a lot of expertise in that, and who else other than Frye? So he could have built this machine along with Commander Tartar, and Tartar just designed these faces after himself, or Frye did that to kind of pay homage to Tartar, since they would be working together. And just think about it, all of Side Order takes place in a very futuristic, digital and technological world. Marina and Frye, as far as we know now, are the only two that would be capable of creating a world like this. And we already know Marina is missing, so perhaps Frye, knowing how talented Marina is, could have kidnapped her to help him create all of this and the entirety of the Spire of Order and the whole Side Order environment for whatever reason. And I mean, Frye could be working alongside with Commander Tartar to get rid of Inklings and Octolings. Now that one is a lot more of a stretch, since what reason would Glenn have to hate Inklings and Octolings, especially if he built basically the whole lobby for them, although that could be for some more nefarious purposes. Some evidence, I guess, supporting that Glenn and Tartar could be working together, although it's not really evidence, it's just connections that some may think is a stretch, others might think it makes sense. It all depends on your interpretation, but we do know Commander Tartar wanted to wipe out all of Inklings and Octolings because he hated their culture and how obsessed with fashion and other things they are obsessed with. So he wanted to wipe them out, use the primordial ooze to create his own perfect species and life form to pass down the knowledge of humanity on. Frye is a fiddler crab, which means he is not an Inkling or Octoling, so he wouldn't really have any reason to hate him. So Commander Tartar, seeing how talented Frye is with his inventions, he could have struck a deal with Frye to build him all of these machines, this dead fish army, this machine we see here at the end of the trailer, and just overall the entirety of Side Order. They could have struck a deal together so they both get a benefit out of this. Commander Tartar gets protection, I guess, with this dead fish army, this big machine here, if this is Tartar hiding inside there, and just overall the entire digital world of Side Order could be Tartar's big cocoon and protection there, and Frye can get something out of this. I'm not really sure. Maybe he's just excited to work on more inventions. We don't know really anything about Frye, so Tartar and Frye could have struck a deal together, and they could have basically merged their companies together into one big company. And this is nothing new. We've seen this in the real world with Square acquiring Enix and becoming Square Enix, so it's very normal for two big companies to join into one. This could be what that is. Although I might be looking a little bit too much into this, as for the Pearl palette we see that new logo, that could just be obviously this new logo of the two companies together, or just be an infinity symbol, which infinity and 8 have a lot of symbolism throughout the entire trailer. And if you want to know about all that, watch this video here. I will also link that in the description. I think it is so well done and well made that it makes a very strong case. And if you're still not convinced, there's already a lot of Octo expansion, more specifically Deep Sea Metro connection in this trailer anyway. I mean, obviously we're playing as Agent 8 and Deadfish is here to help, both who are very important characters within Octo expansion itself. So if that's not really enough, then I don't know what is. Also, like I had mentioned in the video earlier, there's a lot of 8 and infinite symbolism in this side order trailer, and 8 is significant because 8 is also very big symbolism and motif within Octo expansion. All in all, the theory does start to get a little weak if you try to go into the nuances and small details of it, but looking at it in a more broader, open view, it kind of makes sense, and there is some connections there that even if Commander Tartar isn't returning or Glenn Fiddler isn't working with him, at least Glenn Fiddler will have some type of presence or involvement in Side Order or in Splatoon 4 at the very least. So my theory is that Glenn Fiddler will be working alongside Commander Tartar to complete some type of goal in the future, and they had kidnapped Marina because of her skill set and how skilled and talented she is at creating technology just like Fiddler. So having both of their highly expertise in technology, they could create basically anything they want. And maybe Tartar is the one in control of everything, maybe Fiddler is the one in control of everything. We don't really know, but I do theorize and speculate that both of them will be in Side Order and working together. That is it for this theory, though. I may have left out a couple of details that kind of support the theory, and I may have explained a lot of this in a way that doesn't really make sense. It's kind of all over the place and sounds like I'm just rambling. It's kind of hard to explain it in a way that anyone other than myself would understand. That's just how my brain is. I have these thoughts but can't really explain it in a way that makes sense. Hopefully this whole video made sense. I'm very excited for Side Order. It's inching closer and closer every single day, and before you know it, it'll be here. January is already almost over and it just started, so just a month and some weeks left and Side Order will be here, and I will be playing the whole thing on this channel. I might have a couple more Side Order videos coming out before it drops. I have some ideas, but we'll have to see and wait for that. But yeah, other than that, I had fun making this video and hopefully y'all enjoyed it. So see you next mission and play some goddamn Splatty.